Hey, Evan. Question 6. Episode 6. Hey, Evan. What size market share does ERA Russell Realty Group have in the particular market? This is a really good question. I don't think any real estate company owns one group of the market share in one particular town. I think it's important for real estate agents to know, 80% or 90% of a lot of towns. If you put all your eggs in one particular basket, which could turn into, market share, then I think you're really kind of not understanding the real world. So let's use, the town of North Reading here, for example. Not many people move from North Reading to North Reading. Not many people, go, from a rental to a buy. They're usually coming in the town from another town. So therefore, the market share is a difficult question in twofold. Number one, how are we basing the market share? Are we basing the market share just right here in our local town? Or are we basing the market share in a huge city like Boston, in which we're in, where there's thousands of agencies and thousands of brokers? Okay? So that's the first one. The second thing is, a company with a lot of active listings is not a successful company. We want a company that has their listings under agreement. We don't want active market share, because if they're active, that means they're not selling. So a company with 100 active listings isn't necessarily the best place to go, because they're not putting those listings under agreement. So if they have 100 active listings, they should have 200 under agreement. So as far as market share goes, if you've got 5 or 6 in a town that are active, you better have 5 or 6 in a town that are under agreement. Okay? And then, of course, that obviously determines what are we really talking about market share. Are we talking about North Reading? Are we talking about, the towns around us? We're talking about Greater Boston, right? So I think the market share question is a question that's trained or coached to home buyers and sellers, to figure out how much business we've actually done. But I believe here at the Russell Realty Group, Evan Russell, broker, owner at Work with Evan, Evan at therussellteam.com on the Russell Realty Minute. I think it's important to be well-versed in many different areas, right? Not just the one market share. Okay, so don't be afraid of the market share question. It doesn't necessarily tell the story in any fashion. I think it basically says, are you doing business? How much business are you doing in and around me versus how much the other thing do. The other thing is, the third piece here, is if I'm listing your house and then turning around and listing your neighbor's house, well, that doesn't help you or them, right? So yeah, I may have 20 listings in a town, but I'm competing 20 listings against each other, right? That's why when you drive down the street, you very rarely see the same sign across the street from each other. Because then you're putting that listing agent in a spot where, which house am I going to market more? Then the seller's going to get upset because you sell the house across the street before you sell his house, or vice versa. That puts you kind of in a bad spot. So the market share question, I think, is a difficult one to answer. It doesn't have a really clean-cut answer to it. And it's definitely something you want to ask in regards to how much business are you doing right now versus how much business are you doing in my particular area, and what percentage of that is market share. All right, so I hope you enjoyed. This is question 6, episode 6. What is the size of your market share? I hope I answered that for you. I gave you my information in the middle of the show at Work with Evan on Twitter feed. We will move on to episode 7 here next. Hope you're enjoying. There are 19 left to go.